这个是中英文。
龙鳞我不懂吗？
Have nothing in your hands, all your bags and programs underneath your seat. When it becomes time for your row's turn for the presentation, the entire row will move out and stand on the right-hand side of the hall. At that stage, a staff member will ask your name to ensure that you're in correct order. Another staff member will then adjust your academic dress so you look the best as you walk across the stage for presentation. Another staff member will then tell you that it's your time to come to the very top step. As Liz will now demonstrate, I'd like you to come to the very top step, not the second top step, because we don't want standing where you as the graduate standing. I'm standing where the reader is standing. At the middle of the stage, Jane's standing where the chancellor standing where the dean is standing. Although the reader is reading your name, the chancellor is the person who is conferring your degree. If you'd like to have a try, don't lift it off your head, just touch the side of it and the chancellor will doff back to you. You then walk across to her. You then shake her hand with your right hand and accept your degree with your left hand. You then walk across and shake the dean's hand, go back down the steps, back to your original row and your original seat. So do a demonstration, the reader will say Liz writes, she'll doff, Chancellor doffs back, walk across the stage, shake with the right, accept with the left, go across to your dean, back down the steps, back to your original row and original seat. At the end of the proceeding, left and right, coming up on across the front of the blue carpet, up the side of the Chancellor's chair, and then in pairs, following the academic session, up.
I now present to you the Deputy Chancellor of Monash University.
Graduates and guests, Mr. Senior Deputy Vice Chancellor, Madam Deputy Vice Chancellor, distinguished visitors, members of the faculty, it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Council of the University to this graduation ceremony at Monash University, which is being performed on country for which the Kulin nations have been custodians for many centuries. This day marks an important milestone in the lives of our graduates, and I extend to you all my congratulations on your achievements. I now call upon Professor Jill Palmer, Dean of and Economics.
Madam Deputy Chancellor, I certify to you and to the Council of Monash University that all candidates now to be presented and those others listed in your copy of the graduation programme have fulfilled the conditions prescribed by the Council of Monash University for admission to the degrees indicated in the programme. Would all candidates for degrees of the Faculty of Business and Economics please stand? Deputy Chancellor, graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics will be presented to you by Professor Owen Hughes, Deputy Dean and Director of the Graduate School of Business of the Faculty of Business and Economics.
Vineet Kapoor. Bachelor of Business Accounting, Johanna Adesaputro. Magdalena Angrani. Finny Anturajanto. Mary Crystal Kofi. Kin Ming Lee. Inda Yati. Michael Hidayat Kurnia Plata. Pei Wen Lai. Stephanus Arias Susanto. Agnes Sutikno. Yven Tai. Chia Chi Tan. Hui Ling Tan. Mei Wei Tan. Pan Tan. Kwon Tammy Tang. Ivera Mega Tangono. Rajiv Surana. Nantanit Suyuntrikon. Sutapat Sawanakit Purohan. And Charlie Tamako. Roma Andika. Radicha Kapel. Serene Chan. James Alexander King. Ikunum Siri. Sion Lee.
令排在最后。
When we Xu Mei Feng.
徐美凤。啊？啊是。
Anastasia Stefani Setiani. Nafat Sonopol. Navapon Suksowalski. Leon
我在
Tang.
拍了。
Garapas Tavivora Ugolok. Xu Ping Xia. Chong Lin Xiong. Zhe Yong. Jelly Yuan. Master of Marketing.
With honours from the University of Newcastle upon Tyne and the degree of Doctor of Philosophy from the Australian Capital Territory and Queensland. Professor Parker has taught at University College Cardiff, the Australian National University, Griffith University and at Monash. He has published books or monographs on the history of marriage law, the law relating to unmarried humanities and creative arts committee of the Australian Research Council, and he is an academic auditor for the Australian Universities Quality Agency. Would you please join me in welcoming Professor Parker?
Madam Deputy Chancellor, colleagues, graduates of the University, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all of today's graduates on your achievements. Monash University is increasingly recognised as one of the world's great universities due to the hard work of its staff and students over many years. You will leave here with a testament which is valuable in itself, but which will increase in value over your working life, in whichever country that takes place. By the end of today, in 3 separate ceremonies, students will have graduated from all 10 of the university's faculties and from numerous courses within each of those faculties. Walking across this stage, we will have seen graduates in arts, art and design, a threshold requirement. Obviously, we do need to have sufficient knowledge and skills to handle complex tasks, but intelligent people can reach these threshold levels with some effort, but not too much difficulty. What tells people apart, what enables them to go beyond threshold levels of competence and to be successful, is the ability to blend IQ and EQ. Certain emotional intelligence skills, the ability to communicate, to listen, to empathise, to maintain a sense of perspective, to be resilient in the face of setbacks, to be optimistic, and to be able to work in teams, these are key ingredients of success, according to the research. While many modern universities have focused largely on knowledge and technique rather than these skills of character and behaviour, Monash, I think, is an exception. Employers of our graduates say that Monash students have something extra about them. And we at Monash are committed to developing this further. As more and more Monash graduates work in countries around the world, we hope that they become known amongst employers for their special personal skills of emotional intelligence and cultural sensitivity. A second thing which you all have in common is that it will be up to you what has done and is doing to the planet and its atmosphere is in itself bringing about avoidable and undesirable climate change. Evidence is growing, which is not accepted by everyone, that the greenhouse effects of emissions since the Industrial Revolution over 200 years ago are leading to a rise in the average global temperature. I expect that in the next few years the different schools of thought will become clearer, the models predicting future change will become more compelling, and the choices we need to make will become more apparent, but perhaps more difficult. We know that the world's leaders have begun to grapple with these issues, as we saw in Montreal last week, but it will fall to your generation to take on the full implications. It will always ultimately call for judgments based on many factors and drawing on many disciplines. Is the evidence sound? How do we weigh up the uncertainty of the evidence against the risks of ignoring it? What duties do we owe to generations yet unborn, so that by sacrifices now we safeguard their future? We would all make sacrifices now for our children and our grandchildren, perhaps also our great-grandchildren. But what about our great-great-grandchildren, and so on? So whatever your subject at university, whether its underlying principle was beauty, belief, culture, efficiency, health, information, justice, science or technology, your insights will be needed to grapple with these social, ethical and technical issues on a scale which will make the past look simple. What will be needed is a complex mix of IQ and EQ, which I hope has begun to form during your time with us. At every graduation ceremony I attend, I and my colleagues share in the pleasure of your success. We will not forget you, and I hope that you will not forget us. Put forward your Monash degree with pride. Help your university to develop and excel. Work for a peaceful, prosperous and balanced world. I look forward to seeing you again at an alumni function in your home country and to hearing how you're succeeding. Good luck and goodbye.
Professor Parker, to the graduates I would say most of you have completed your tertiary studies at great cost in terms of commitment, time, finance to your parents and family and their support as well. That was one of the onuses that was placed on the generation older than you are. But Professor Parker has, I believe today, laid a very heavy responsibility on graduates to take on more global problems and make your contribution to them in a way that will contribute to harmony, acceptance of other cultures and beliefs, and goodwill among all mankind. And I hope you take his message to heart. Would you please join with me in thanking Professor Parker again? I would also like you to recognise your partners, your family and your friends who have given you their support. Would you please stand and turn and show them your appreciation? Thank you. Please be seated.